For many of us, and maybe for you too, the question, what even is a soul, was what brought you to spirituality. It was what kickstarted your spiritual journey because you felt like you needed to know an answer and you started to ask all the big questions. As you explore these different theories and these different concepts that are swirling around the soul, you may realize that some imagine it as a type of energy, something that is the spark of who we are, like a divine energy that is in every one of us. Others imagine the soul as an energy that leaves the body after death and is floating either into heaven or is starting a new incarnation. Today, I want to challenge the beliefs that you have around the soul and provide a much deeper perspective that may help you understand yourself on a deeper level. I'm sure that you have heard the saying, you don't have a soul, you are a soul. And there is truth in that. There is so much truth in that. But let's take this a step further and really explore this concept. A soul is not just an invisible force within you. It is not an energy that is resting somewhere locally in your body. Everything that you are, your thoughts, your awareness, your emotions, your presence, including your body, all of that is your soul. Many people mistakenly believe that the soul enters the body at some point, either at the point of conception, at birth, or even later. And this is simply not the truth. Your soul doesn't enter an empty vessel, an empty body. It is the body. The body is part of the soul. So rather than thinking of it as the soul entering the body, you have to think of it as the soul projecting itself forward into a physical manifestation. That means your body is not just a vessel. It means that your body is basically the physical translation of your soul into this third dimensional realm. This is what your soul looks like in the third dimension at this point. With all its flaws, with all its beauty, this is what it looks like as it projects forward into the physical realm. The thing is that you are not just a human, you are a multidimensional being. So what that means is that you don't only exist in this physical realm as your soul projects forward into the physical world, it means that you simultaneously exist in all other dimensions as well. Your consciousness or your soul exists across multiple vibrational layers, starting from this physical expression that you currently are, up to the most ethereal, non-physical realms that you can imagine. So you are truly a multidimensional being, and it is not as simple as your soul incarnating into this one body for this one lifetime and then going somewhere else. It's much more complicated than that, and you are so much bigger than who you are as this human being right now. This physical third dimensional reality that you experience yourself in as a human is very dense, and it's very obvious and very hard to ignore. So the other layers are more subtle, less dense, and more based on frequency and vibration rather than physical manifestations of such. An easy way to tell that you are tapped into these other dimensions is that you can 100% feel if someone is standing behind you looking at you. It's just something that we can perceive as human beings. When someone is staring at us and this person is entering our auric field or our energy body, we can tell that. We can feel that their energetic body and their attention, their awareness merges with us. Whether that is comfortable or uncomfortable, we can tell. We can definitely tell. And this shows you that you can perceive other layers of self, even in this physical reality, even in this physical expression. It's just on a more subtle layer. And the more connected you are to your non-physical aspects, the more you pick up and the more you are tapped in. I will make a simplified example so that you can truly grasp the concept of multidimensionality and projecting your consciousness forward. You can think of it like this. Because we are all one at the core, and everything stems from source energy. That's where you come from. That is where your expression comes from on the highest dimension. So this aspect of you wants to experience itself, and it projects further into the lower densities, into the lower realms. So as it projects forward, as your consciousness projects forward, it becomes more dense and more physical. And the third dimensional expression that you know as the person that you are right now is one of the lowest, most dense expressions that there are. At its highest frequency, your soul is pure energy, pure intelligence. It is merged with the one infinite creator. As it steps down in frequency, it becomes more dense, less subtle, and more physical. It takes on different expressions, different forms, and the human body is simply the lowest, most dense expression of that projection. So between you as the physical human being and your highest expression is a long journey. There are a lot of layers or dimensions in between. And these are not empty. You're not just jumping. Your soul is not just jumping from the highest density to the lowest and jumps into your body and is just there. It just enters. That's not how it works. It has to step down, step by step by step, expressing on all these layers in between to finally get to this human expression. So all these steps and all these different expressions of yourself are part of your soul. Not all of them are noticeable or reachable from your human standpoint. But from a bigger perspective, all of that is who you are. You are a multidimensional cosmic being. This brings us back to the question that I asked earlier. Is the body just a vessel for your soul? And we cannot really answer that. We can only answer it by yes and no. Yes, because your body is an extension of your soul that has been translated into a physical form. So it is a vessel in that sense. It is the physical vessel that needs to be created and biologically formed in order for your soul to walk this earth and to interact in this dimension. So in that sense, it is a vessel. It is something that you need to be perceived by others, to interact, to be perceived as something outside of another person. Your body is the barrier and the border that keeps you separated from the energy around you. So in that sense, it is a vessel that you need to work here, to interact in the third dimensional realm. And know, because your soul is not just entering the body, entering this empty vessel, it is a physical expression of your soul's essence, shaped and created by frequency that becomes more dense and more physical in the process. In a way, your physical form is something that you borrow from the material world. But what's truly behind it, what truly animates this energy and makes it who you are, is your soul. So that is not a clear answer. There is no yes or no to the question if the body is a vessel, because it is one, but it's also more than just a vessel. It's not just here and you happen to incarnate into it. You are very much part of the creation of that body, even though your parents on a biological level created your physical vessel. It's just energy that is being borrowed. It's energy that is being projected forward. If there wasn't a soul in the first place that wants to incarnate, there would be no baby. You could not create a physical vessel, a baby, without a soul being the mastermind behind that. There is always a soul wanting to incarnate, helping this process, projecting itself forward. And that is how your body is being created, with the help of your parents, with the help of everyone else's soul. But there is no new human if there is no soul that wants to incarnate as this human. That is a little bit of a different topic, but I just want to really quickly make you aware of that. The DNA, our markup, is also not simply only biological. There is so much stuff and so much energy and so much information stored about our cosmic history in our DNA that science, modern science, calls around 97% of the DNA junk DNA, because they can simply not decode what this is all about. So they just say, okay, we can decode like 3% of the DNA, and that is the physical markup of our bodies and everything that's part of that. And the other 97%, we have no idea. We cannot decode that, so we're just gonna call it junk DNA. You can look that up, it's true. If our soul is projecting itself into the physical, what happens with the body when we die? The soul does not go anywhere. It doesn't leave the body, it doesn't go anywhere. It simply stops projecting itself into the physical. It cuts the connection in the physical third dimensional realm. It's not gone, it's not vanished. It simply is no longer perceivable in our physical dimension. The life force energy, the consciousness, the soul essence of that body that used to project into that body is no longer doing that, and it withdraws, and the body is left behind as this empty vessel. But what it really is just the dense physical expression of that soul that takes longer to go back into the recycling process of energy. So because it is dense, because there is a buffer time on Earth for things to happen and everything is physical, it needs some time to, that sounds graphic, but to rot and to go back into one of the elements, either earth or fire if a body is being burned. So the exact same thing happens. It goes back into the cycle of energy, reincarnation, recycling of energy. It just takes longer because it's a denser energy. It's a physical expression of frequency. So that takes a while to go back to where it came from. You are not just a body that happens to have a soul. You are a soul that chose to experience life as a human being. Really let that sink in and sit a moment with that realization of who you truly are. It sounds so simple when I just say it, but if you truly, fully let that sink in and sit with that thought, with that piece of wisdom, it makes you connect with a much deeper level of who you are. Your life is not just a series of events that are not connected with each other. It all has meaning. It all serves a greater purpose. And a lot of these events, a lot of these challenges, a lot of your successes have been chosen prior to even coming here. Your soul knew what was coming. Your soul knew the challenges because it wanted to be here in this expression so it can experience and evolve and make these soul expanding experiences. It learns so much through this physical expression that you are today. And it is all in divine timing. It is all meaningful and purposeful. It is not just a coincidence that you are here, that you have the parents you have, or that you live in the situation that you live in. And sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow because life is not always easy. But your soul wanted to experience the full spectrum of what it means to be a physical being. And that is why a spiritual awakening is never about finding connection to your soul. It's about remembering that you are not disconnected from it at all. It's about remembering that you are the soul and that you just need to explore the other layers of who you are. You have to expand your consciousness. You have to expand your mind and heart to fully grasp who you are. I'm sure you've heard about higher consciousness and expanding your mind and all these things in the spiritual community 1,000 times. But I hope now you truly realize what that means, because reaching higher consciousness simply means accessing a higher part of yourself that has been there since the beginning of time. It's always been there. You just haven't accessed it before. So this whole fuss around raising your vibration, accessing higher consciousness, expanding your mind, all of that only serves the purpose of uncovering the multidimensional layers of who you truly are. If this resonates with you and you want to explore more about your multidimensionality and all things spirituality, make sure to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and leave in the comments what part of this video shifted your perspective the most. I will be back with a brand new video next week. I hope to connect with you again. And until then, have a beautiful time.